or a specific set of accounts who can help us out in driving maximum outcome on my media spend. तो मार्केटिंग में दो एस्पेक्ट है, एक तो मैंने मार्केटिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट कर दिया, उसके बाद मेरा बैकएंड में मेरे सेल्स के लोग हैं जो सेल्स कन्वर्जन के लिए टेलीकॉलिंग करते हैं या ईमेल मार्केटिंग करते हैं, जस्ट टू ड्राइव दैट आउटकम कि हाँ आपने मेरा ऐड देखा, नाउ वी वांट यू टू गेट कन्वर्टेड एंड वी वांट यू टू यूज माय सर्विसेज एंड आई हैव टू पे फॉर दैट सर्विस. If you are not using an account based marketing, then there are two aspects to it. First, आप marketing बहुत अच्छी कर रहे हो, आप reach out बहुत कर रहे हो, you have a good, you're leveraging your marketing or media practices at the best. But if the sales is not getting converted, then what's the next step? कि हाँ मतलब sales वाले कह रहे हैं कि आपने जी marketing बहुत अच्छी करी, we have got a number like in 10,000 odd leads within this campaign, but none of them getting converted. None of them are the right audience for me to getting converted. ABM helps you out in that way. ABM is giving you that flexibility कि आपके पास you're doing a marketing activity from another marketing media, and then at the same point in time using an ABM which is specific reaching to accounts and audiences within your company list just narrows down कि ठीक है अब मेरे पास जो वेग नंबर है, पहले 10,000 लीड्स आई थी जो शायद मेरे पोटेंशियल कस्टमर नहीं भी हो सकते हैं, बट एबीएम करने से मुझे ये पता चला कि हाँ आउट ऑफ दैट 10,000 जनता में से मैं एबीएम करता हूँ, अकाउंट्स यूज करता हूँ, उन अकाउंट्स को मैप करता हूँ और मेरे पास सिर्फ 5,000 के एक्चुअल जनता आती है जो शायद मेरा प्रोडक्ट खरीदे. तो दैट कैन हेल्प मी आउट इन ड्राइविंग दैट एफिशिएंसी कि ठीक है मीडिया में मैंने पैसा लगा दिया, बट उसका सेल्स आउटकम कैसे होगा एबीएम के थ्रू. मैं बहुत नैरो कर रहा हूँ अपने आप को और मैं सिर्फ स्पेसिफिक लोगों को रीच कर रहा हूँ जो शायद मेरे पोटेंशियल कस्टमर हो सकते हैं या फिर दे कैन बी समवन हु आर रेडी टू पे फॉर दैट सर्विस. बट व्हाई डू यू वांट टू प्रैक्टिस एन एबीएम apart from sales, apart from your media investment, apart from all the marketing activities that you do, why would you want to do an ABM? And specifically for B2B, B2C और B2B में हमें फर्क पता है, बट हम B2B में ABM करते हैं, B2C में क्यों नहीं? किसी को कोई आइडिया? मैंने क्लाइंट से भी यही सवाल पूछा था, मुझे भी नहीं पता था. क्लाइंट ने मुझे जब जवाब दिया, उसने मुझे बताया है कि B2C में आप हर किसी को रीच आउट करो, आप छोटी मछली पकड़ोगे. B2B में आप ABM ट्राई करो, आप बड़ी मछली पकड़ सकते हो. So your outcome comes more in ABM when you do into B2B ecosystem compared to a B2C ecosystem. So for me, driving a effective revenue channel, a prospecting channel, and a new business line, ABM helps in a B2B ecosystem. Now, if I have to ask, like in for Intel or for any another B2B client, what is the main thing that we always look as the outcome? मतलब जो B2B में अकाउंट पे काम करते हैं उनके लिए मेन आउटकम क्या होता है किसी भी मीडिया एक्टिविटी का?
सेल्स.
क्या चीज?
सेल्स.
Sales, lead, and anything else? What is that one thing जो हमारे मतलब when we build a pipeline for a business, new business pipeline, sales and lead is something new, but are we also creating that first stage कि we are reaching out to the first person who can be an influencer? सेल्स इज द आउटकम एंड लीड्स इज द आउटकम कि हाँ वो एक्शन लेगा, हमने बहुत स्पेसिफिकली उसको दिखाया है. बी इट लाइक एन एबीएम लेड प्लेटफॉर्म लाइक लिंक्डइन. लिंक्डइन सबसे एप्ट एबीएम प्लेटफॉर्म है जो काम करता है, हमें बताता है कि हमें क्या करना चाहिए, किस ऑब्जेक्टिव पे किस टाइप से रीच करना चाहिए, व्हाट इज द प्रोजेक्शन दैट वी कैन गेट फ्रॉम ABM strategy using on LinkedIn. But at the same point in time, when we talk about reaching to a first right person in a B2B brand, secondly, are we making him aware that okay, आपने बहुत जगह मेरा ऐड देखा था बट आप इंटरेस्टेड नहीं हो, बट अब आप मेरा अकाउंट और मेरा ब्रांड लेना चाहते हो एज अ सर्विस, देन द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट कम्स इनटू माय माइंड, ठीक है मतलब आई सॉ समवन, मतलब आई सॉ इट फ्रॉम 10 डिफरेंट मीडिया चैनल but this time it was more of a personalized approach and personalized communication that I received from one specific segment. ABM gives you that benefit. What is the first thing that comes कि जब मैंने किसी को ad देखा मतलब हम लोग जब ad देखते हैं तो what's the propensity that we take a action or decision onto it? कोई आइडिया ऐसे मतलब ad देख के तो वैसे कुछ एक्शन लेने का मन नहीं करता बट फिर भी what is the first thing that you think?
Uh, Hi. So we want to know more about the brand. We do some kind of research on that for that particular brand.
Correct. So पहली बार the moment when we see an ad, then it's just like ठीक है, we are exposed to something which we are new, we're not too sure, and again in a B2B ecosystem, we don't know what exactly happens next. क्या कोई हमें सेल्स के लिए बेच रहा है चीजें और they are asking me to enroll for some information? Are they asking to enroll for any newsletter kind of thing? We don't know. ABM helps you out to reach to those audiences who are already aware about your product and the personalization of message within those set of accounts helps you to create a recall at the very first go. Be it a performance driven campaign or be it a reach driven campaign on digital B2B ecosystem, ABM will always help you out to create that recall on the very first stage because he is using your product end of the day. It's not about someone you are reaching out to a new ecosystem or bringing someone towards a different domain, but he is already aware about you. He is already using your system, your services, but he is not that spending that much of time thinking कि मुझे इसका और कितना यूज करना चाहिए उसको मैं उसको और कैसे leverage कर सकूं. So ABM helps you out to give that customized approach. Now, when we talk about ABM as a strategy, like we do a lot of different business, we always have a business strategy in place, we also have a media strategy in place, but what about the ABM strategy? For ABM strategy we always think कि ठीक है मेरे set of accounts, मेरे set of companies fixed है एक B2B ecosystem में. For example, चलो एक example लेते हैं. For Microsoft, मेरे को पता है कि for Microsoft enterprise accounts give me a good revenue compared to a small medium corporate accounts. So for me, doing a ABM activity on enterprise account will yield more revenue as an outcome at a later sales pipeline compared to a small medium commercial account. But at the same point in time, जब मैं small medium enterprise accounts पे ABM करता हूँ, this gives me a perspective that I should be opening a new channel, maybe for a different service because he's already using my service first. And secondly, there can be a possibility that he may not be using another product or services, but is using his business line. That new service or that new product can be helpful. एक बात बताइए जब आप लोग on majorly B2B accounts on any B2B brand, when we talk about sales or when we talk about leads, like in what's the outcome when client says कि हाँ मेरी sales आ गई है मेरी lead आ गई है but मेरा cost per lead और cost per sales जो है वो बहुत महंगा आ रहा है, उसका हमारे पास क्या जवाब होता है आमतौर पे मतलब those who work on the B2B accounts? कोई नहीं है B2B वाला आज.
Hi, Sumitabh, Bhavik this side. So does that mean like we have segmented the audience to the very, मतलब काफी ज़्यादा हमने limited audience select करी हुई है. So we should increase the audience size.
That is at an operational level, correct? That is at an operational level. But when we talk about कि हाँ मेरी sales cost of acquisition for a B2B client and leads coming out to be very high. क्योंकि B2B, अगर मैं B2C की बात करता हूँ, आपको लीड कॉस्ट सस्ती आती है और मे बी कॉस्ट ऑफ एक्विजिशन इज फार मोर चीपर कंपेयर टू अ B2B एक्विजिशन. So
And
ABM, hmm,
and does that also mean that even though the CPL have has been on a higher side, but the quality of that lead will be definitely a good one because we have targeted the on the basis of limited targeting, we might have got some, good good quality of leads. Like if the CPL is very low, so uh, that may show like it has been shown to most of the audience, which might not have been the target audience.
spillover, yes, for sure. But at the same point in time, when we talk about कि ठीक है, मेरी sales cost high आ रही है और my cost of acquisition on B2B leads is high, then ABM helps it to narrow down because, and how does it helps to narrow down the cost? That gives you that leverage that, okay, you need to expose your ad to very specific and very limited people. When you talk about the accounts, then these accounts are those prospecting accounts कि मुझे पता है, like, and they've been with me in past in terms of business. I know what exactly has been their pain point, how they've been using my product, and uh, what's the outcome and what's the what feedback that I'm being getting. I put I put the messaging across in that way that, okay, I know about you. Why don't you try this as a separate option? You are very specific using ABM on any B2B brands. When you talk about B2B brands and we talk ABM, then it helps you out to narrow down your approach in terms of marketing, in terms of acquisition, in terms of sales, leads, or any performance matrix, you name it. But when you create a ABM strategy, apart from your business or media strategy, ABM strategy should comprise of only two major things. First, know the audience or maybe the accounts that you want to reach out to. And second, what's the actual engagement that you're getting within those accounts? The moment you say that, okay, out of 100 odd accounts, I know 50% are the engaged account and 40% are those accounts who are actually getting converted with maybe a new proposition or increasing their investment on my old proposition which they are already using, that hits the goal. So for that, my ABM strategy revolves mainly that how should I reach to these audience on which accounts. So my account engagement and the list of accounts that I want to use, that is more important. At the same point in time, अगर हम पूछते हैं कि what are the types of ABM that we should look for? Again, three basic steps of ABM, three basic mechanism of ABM, be it a strategic ABM, then you have ABM light, and then you have programmatic ABM. प्रोग्रामेटिक हमने बहुत प्रोग्रामेटिक करा होगा. प्रोग्रामेटिक एबीएम किसी ने ट्राई करा है आज तक? मे बी फॉर B2C brand as well. Anyone? No. Programmatic ABM can help you out to reach your audiences in B2C at a much effective way and at a much, your cost per acquisition and lead cost. If it's a performance-based campaign, can help you out to bring down your cost per leads and cost per sales. Same with ABM Lite. You choose which engaged accounts, and within those engaged accounts, which is the active audience that is ready to take a action on your ads, be it on any ABM platform or be it any ABM ecosystem over digital ecosystem. For strategic ABM, if I have to talk about, strategic ABM majorly आपके होते हैं 1 से 10 accounts जहाँ पे you name only specific decision makers that I want to influence these decision makers, and these people are someone who may not be using my product, but they prove to be an advocacy towards that specific product within their organization. हम लोग इन्फ्लुएंसर एक्टिविटी करते हैं, इन्फ्लुएंसर कैंपेन करते हैं. व्हाट इज द फोर्थ थिंग दैट विल लुक इन इन्फ्लुएंसर कैंपेन? कोई वेग एग्जांपल? कि आपने इन्फ्लुएंसर कैंपेन करा था, व्हाट वाज द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट यू लुक फॉर इन्फ्लुएंसर कैंपेन? किसी ने तो करा होगा इन्फ्लुएंसर।
Kind of influencer or what kind of reach they have, if they're relevant for that particular product.
Exactly. So reach is something more important. You're talking about an influencer, you talk about cat A, cat B, cat C. You just look at the reach, that what exactly is the reach and where exactly you want to portray your message. So it is strategic ABM gives you that leverage that, okay, you want to reach out to a specific set of audience within that reach. So my reach is more important. When we talk about reach in ABM or in B2B ecosystem, it is more of a overall universe. मेरे पास है 10,000 का, जिसमें से मैंने सिर्फ 10 कंपनीज को रीच करनी है. Decision maker are only 5. My communication, my strategy is very specific towards those 5 people. And those 5 people would be doing the advocacy for my product, for my creative, for my proposition, for my sales. That is the only way I be very specific. At the same point in time, I am very personal that why don't you use my product and services? Why you want to choose any another product and services apart from what I'm delivering to you? You being a very loyal customer to me, आप मेरा प्रोडक्ट यूज करते हो, फॉर इंस्टेंस माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, आप मेरा इंटायर प्रोडक्ट यूज करते हो, यू बीन यूजिंग मे बी ऑफिस 365, व्हाई डोंट यू अपग्रेड योर विंडोज एंड see that how your new Office 365 works, how it looks. So it gives you that overall customized solution, personalized approach, and give you that benefit. Okay, so at least my sales channel is getting more narrower and very apt. Rather than getting 10,000 calls for telemarketing people, I give them 1,000 numbers. Out of 1,000, I know that 50% or 40% may be those people who would be interested in my proposition, and maybe out of 10 can get converted. So my overall cost may come out to be, conversion comes out to be much higher rate compared to any another marketing mix in overall digital ecosystem. But इसमें unrealistic approach क्या होती है? मेरी guesses के unrealistic approach क्या हो सकती है ABM पे? कि लोग हमसे पूछते हैं कि हाँ ठीक है, हम we are reaching out to maybe 20 odd companies, only decision makers, and we are getting good conversion. So is that those people are only interested on my product? Can I do an upselling of any another product or not? So ABM gives me that leverage again, because a single company, I can reach out to them via 2 different approaches. Again, strategic ABM, either it's ABM Lite or programmatic ABM. Programmatic ABM, I can reach out to people who are across this office right now. If we are connected to a office domain, same office domain, I can reach out to these people at any point in time via programmatic display ads. Because it's only one organization Kara, or maybe one organization Densu. It's a ABM account-based marketing. I'm reaching Densu completely at one place with different display ad units. And this gives me an opportunity that how things works. But unrealistic expectation ये रहती है कि हाँ, मेरे leads आ गए हैं, क्या मेरे leads और सस्ते हो सकते हैं? Because we being very specific, we are getting good conversion. But does good conversion rate help me out to give you a good expectation on terms of cost per sales or cost per revenue? No. These are unrealistic expectations. But end of the day, अगर मेरी strategy में ABM है, and if I'm practicing it in a way कि ठीक है, for a long period of time, for next 6 months, I choose to do an ABM campaign on my B2B accounts. I know that, okay, I initially start from ripe mangoes, maybe later on moving to the low hanging fruits, and end of the day, I know that I have an engaged audience, I have an engaged uh, ecosystem of people and accounts who are ready to take an action on my ads and get converted are something that we should look for. But ABM B2B में क्या करता है? मतलब हम जो B2B अकाउंट्स पे काम करते हैं, उस पे हमारा सबसे कोर एक्सपर्टीज क्या होता है कि हम क्या सोचते हैं कि हाँ B2B अगर हमें करना है तो हमें ABM इज समथिंग एल्स. ABM comes out of the later stage. But on the B2B accounts that you guys work, what is the one thing or maybe two things that you look for कि हाँ मैं B2B अगर करूँगा तो मुझे सिर्फ मनी कंट्रोल ET लेना है या क्या लेना है, उसका डिफरेंशिएशन क्लासिफिकेशन आप कैसे करते हो कि मुझे क्या लेना चाहिए B2B के लिए? Any guesses? Anyone who works on B2B?
Wherever the right stakeholders are present, maybe.
Maybe maybe the audience that we are looking for, that's more a decision maker audience,
Yeah.
or maybe a decision maker audience can be an influencer within his organization or within the portfolio that he works with. So ABM at a overall scheme of things, when I talk or when we say that ABM हमें करना चाहिए across all different domains or should bring into the practice on all the B2B campaigns, that is where it comes and it makes our life easy because we know that we are reaching to a very specific set of companies. It's all about the company ecosystem or maybe a set of brands that we should lock that, okay, for me, for Microsoft, AWS is someone who does a lot of campaigns on behalf of their services, maybe for developers, maybe for, IT, just security, maybe for cloud computing, maybe Google is doing it at the same point in time. Does ABM help me out to cross sell or maybe reach to my competitor using, or maybe reach to my competitors and think that they should be not using a AWS? हेलो, कोई कुछ पूछ रहा है?
I think किसी का गलती से म्यूट ऑफ हो.
So I was talking about कि ठीक है, मतलब AWS is running their own digital campaign in B2B ecosystem. Google is doing a B2B campaigns for their own cloud, for their SaaS-based softwares and all. But does ABM helps me out to reach those audience who are already using my competition products? Yes. And at a partial level, no. Because ABM helps you out to reach to a more refined audience कि मुझे पता है कि मैं अगर किसी डेंसो के CEO या VP को रीच आउट कर लूंगा, दिखा दूंगा ऐड कि हाँ उनको डेल की जगह एप्पल का मैकबुक लेना चाहिए, या फिर उनको जो सॉफ्टवेयर सर्विस है वो यूज कर रहे हैं, कोई CRM सर्विस यूज कर रहे हैं, उनको वो चेंज करना चाहिए. And at the same point in time, my competitor AWS or Google or maybe they are also reaching out to the same person. My probability increases because Dentsu as an organization within my ABM list is the highly engaged account. He is already using my services as Windows. Maybe as a laptop brand, I may not be able to convert them that okay, buy a complete laptop or ecosystem, maybe a Surface, for instance, Surface device. But why don't you in your office? Why don't you use a Surface Hub, which can help you out to do more of a meeting and client communication? Can help you out. So that's how ABM helps you out. अब इस पूरे इकोसिस्टम में जब हमने बात करी,
I'm sorry, I have a question. Sorry, Vipul here.
हम्म,
So, like, if we have a different hierarchies, like let's say AWS or Google, it's generally the decision making happens at CIO level, but the decision making also starts from a bit lower hierarchies of people, like let's say solution architects, yeah, cloud architects, because they have this thing that they can convey to their managers and then to the upper management people, right? So इन लोग को कैसे target करना है? So I have like let's say 8 to 10 level of designations that I have in my portfolio, and I have to target all these designations. So do I take the ABM approach itself and target all these, or is there anything else?
नहीं, then in that case, you are reaching out to those people who can be an influencer, but end of the day they can influence and they can motivate their seniors कि हाँ हमारे पास ये सिस्टम होना चाहिए या हमारे पास ये चीज होनी चाहिए. But does your higher management or senior management is ready to take that decision or not? You can put that targeting across on any ABM platform that, okay, within that organization, I only want to reach out to managers who have an experience of maybe 2 to 3 years, or maybe a senior manager kind of level with experience of 5 years max. So my ads would be showed to them and more engaging. If they get engaged towards my accounts or maybe towards my ads, then my ABM strategy shows that, okay, these are the people who can rightly influence them. And it should be more, we should be more approachable and we should be more exposed towards these set of audiences.
Okay, so do you suggest like Mac, should I be considering like all these 8 to 10 level designations, or just stick to the CIO level people who are going to finally take the actual decision?
You can, again, two aspect to it. When we talk about strategic ABM and programmatic ABM, strategic ABM gives you that leverage that, okay, you need to reach out to the key decision maker, which is CIO, CTO, and Chief Security Officer. But when you're doing a programmatic ABM, because you have to create that, like in the awareness funnel, the top of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. So your top of the funnel is the first initial set of managers who can influence people and influence their seniors. So once you reach out to them, you separately reach out to the decision makers on the middle of the funnel where they take a consideration and action. So
Okay,
it's good that you have one set of audience targeted, but at the same point in time, you have to reach out the key decision makers as well.
okay.
It goes
One
vice
more
and
question.
versa.
What would be the content approach? Like, let's say I have different set of accounts in my tab list. Like, कोई cloud के लिए है, कोई security के लिए है, कोई AI के लिए है. But those set of accounts, do I target them obviously with the same set of topics or content? या सबके लिए do I do like ABM, very strategic ABM कि जिसको जो content चाहिए मैं उसी को उसी से target करूँ. Then obviously my CPL would increase.
CPL will definitely increase. It's always advisable to use like a multiple communication led approach. My personal experience on majorly, if I talk about, suppose I have to sell a Surface laptop. It's been long that my ABM B2B lead cost come on Surface devices somewhere close to $150. Over a period of time, we have, uh, I can reduce the eCPL about almost 40 to 50%. And this is all because we are talking about different creative proposition to different levels. So if you are identifying level in your total account list, then you need to have a different communication approach for each level that you are reaching out to. That is the best way
Oh,
that you will have a lower cost per lead or cost per acquisition within that account.
cool, cool, cool. Thanks.
But when, मतलब, again, same, मतलब, same question कि अगर does communication, having a different communication approach at a different level and at a different audience set at a different account level helps me out to reach to a lower lower cost per lead, then do you think that my ABM investment on all the B2 brands should be 100% compared to any other media activity? आप लोगों को क्या लगता है, क्या मुझे 100% ABM पे पैसा खर्च करना चाहिए because it gives me a personalized approach, it gives me a far more detailed, specific specific audience targeted, specific account targeting? Do you think that I should explore only 100% ABM on all the B2B accounts? बताइए.
No, because we have to fill the upper funnel also, and then we get down the funnel.
Correct, but that upper funnel will,
It is not only that actually. So when you do ABM, so it's not only that like you will be concentrating on you will be concentrating only on those accounts, but there are certain accounts also where we have to venture into, right? Like that's where like when you look at ABM approach, 80% should be on the tab and 20% should be on the white space as well. So that is what like I feel like we should do that. So there might be like some instances like let's say like you are targeting telcos, Vodafone and sorry, V and Airtel. So at the same time, like you wanna you see that like decision makers of AT&T are also venturing into that. Like, no harm in reaching out to them. This is a missed opportunity if you don't consider white space within when you do ABM strategy. I hope that answers.
Exactly the same thing, like in white space campaign. Then ABM is 100%. If you're doing an ABM, then you are taking a 20% buffer that, okay, let's reach out to those people who are uh, above the boundary or maybe expanding the boundaries within my account list. मुझे पता है कि मैं 10 लोगों को रीच आउट कर लूंगा, 10 में से तो ठीक है, 10 में से 5 कन्वर्ट होंगे, बट जो 100 के इकोसिस्टम में 90 लोग बचे हुए हैं, व्हाट अबाउट देम? I don't know whether they want to take a decision on my behalf or not, or whether they would be accepting me as their most loved brand and taking an action, or maybe giving me a lead or sales for that specific product. But at the same point in time, again, a very random question. B2B ABM, we know that, okay, that helps me out in reaching out to a very good segment and helps me out to uh, give a personalized approach towards my marketing. But on B2C, when we talk about doing an ABM, how does that sound? Like, do you think that, okay, after all that B2B jargon, ये बहुत heavy है, बहुत tech related ecosystem है, and it is more of a very specific approach. Does this helps me out to reach to a B2C audience in the same way? What do you think? We should do it or we should not do it because it's just like it just doesn't help me out at all. Any use case situation that we have heard that we have done ABM for a B2C product? No one. I'll give you a live case example. For Surface, we have done a SMB led, it's again a white space campaign, but it was more of a consumer centric approach for Surface devices. We tried doing an ABM again, but this ABM was more of a programmatic ABM, reaching to organizations, but at same level, uh, like in the Vipulas, that if I want to reach out to managers and maybe an executive who can be a influential audience for me and can influence the senior management or maybe a hierarchy up, we try to reach them out. But uh, again, the results were very good. They were actually trying to engage with our ads. We had good CTR, we had good CPC. End of the day, we were trying, like in the conversion on my website was increasing because they were actually inquiring on behalf of their senior management. They were trying to inquire that, okay, if this is something good, then what are the benefit of using Surface as a laptop? Maybe not for my organization, but at a personal level, that if I have to explore this laptop, what is the new thing that I should be looking for? But at an overall scheme of thing, B2C, it's still at a very developing stage. When we talk about हमें बहुत specific audience को जाता है क्योंकि we work on a B2C brand and we know that my cost per acquisition, cost per sales on any media channel comes out to be low. Then why you want to do it ABM? For B2B, we know we don't have much flexibility in terms of reaching out to a mass audience or maybe reaching out a to those companies who may be using my product, who may not be using my product, but end of the day, I know that these can be a potential audience who can get engaged within my proposition and maybe turned out to be a open a sales channel for me, a new pipeline for my business. What is the next big thing in ABM that we are looking for? Like we've been doing a B2B brands, we've been doing ABM for long, but what is the next big thing we should look for? Any idea that you want to say that, okay, we want to implement, maybe if you're using an ABM for my B2B strategy, then we should be looking for more refined approach that even though if I'm reaching out to a CXO audience, can parallelly I reach out to the IT person because that is the person who goes into procurement and all. Is there any innovation or maybe any technique or maybe a technical thing that helps me out to reach out the to both of them at the same point in time? Any ideas? How many people are using LinkedIn on B2B accounts, on your B2B clients? No one.
I think almost everyone. I feel like LinkedIn will be the first choice when you do B2B campaign.
Correct. So on LinkedIn, you have a new product which is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So there's a very big challenge, a very big problem when you do a ABM campaign on LinkedIn. Or maybe for instance, any ABM platform that you work with, there's a very big problem because ABM works on the account management. You have your total account list, you have your managed account list, it matches or maps those accounts and sets those ads, to these accounts only. The only problem is that suppose they don't do a quick match in terms of spell check errors. Even it's a manual thing that even though if you don't do a spell check of your company name, then instead of Kara, your ads would be shown to Carrot Lane. So there are a lot of manual dips and checks when you work on any ABM campaign. With LinkedIn as a core platform who works on the ABM ecosystem from long, knows how does ABM ecosystem works, what is the overall mechanism in terms of technicality, how does the ABM work. It There's a new thing which is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which helps you out to automatically choose the correct domain name, domain address of these companies, who helps you out to reach to specific accounts at a more precisely. And the spillover, which earlier used to be maybe a 30 to 40% spillover on any ABM or LinkedIn campaigns, had reduced down to 10 to 12%. So this is the one big thing that we should look for. And like for your B2B brands, again, a wild question, wild thought. For your B2B brands, the major, like in any B2B brands apart from Microsoft that we work on here, uh, what is the one key thing that we bring down to the table when we talk about ABM? Have you ever thought, have our client asked, why don't you do an ABM, or have they said that we want to explore ABM? Can you help us out why we are not doing it, or why we should explore ABM? Has any client said to you, to anyone? No. For Microsoft, completely relies on ABM. We don't run any white space campaign, maybe a 2 to 5% white space campaign, but core competency lies only on ABM. Microsoft specifically says that, okay, let's try to explore new ways how to approach ABM as a strategy. Maybe a more refined, engaged audience, engaged account within the set of accounts that we are managing, how we should increase the account reach, maybe more technical, if I have to say, account reach, what is the account penetration that we are getting, what is the scope of value that we are getting within those accounts. So B2B, when it talks about core IT companies, they are mostly active on ABM. ABM is the first approach that they look for apart from any another media activity.
So, Sudha, which platforms are exactly used or tools to run ABM?
So you have LinkedIn as a main platform. Then you have and there are a lot many platforms that works. Then you have what you say Madison Logic. Then you have Salesforce AI. So lot many. But ABM, when we talk about ABM, then we are also talk about two aspect to it. Maybe a content integration or content syndication. How many of us are aware about content integration and content syndication within ABM? No one? So it's more of a content-led approach within an ABM ecosystem. What plays a
हमने
we do, yeah.
catchy?
No, we were just saying that for Intel, we keep doing the content syndication for ABM.
So for content syndication, Microsoft doesn't do content syndication at all, just because of GDPR guidelines that it's a PIA data and we cannot transfer from one source to another, and there's no data transfer of any PIA data. But doing a content syndication is a key. Like if I'm doing a LinkedIn and I'm running an ABM campaign which helps me out to drive $100 cost per lead on my content syndication as a tactic, which comes out of a strategic ABM activity, can drive my cost per lead to a lesser number compared to what I get on any another ABM, core ABM campaign. What should we have more on ABM? ABM बहुत छोटा सा टॉपिक है, इसमें क्या और एक्स्ट्रा जानना चाहते हैं बताइए.
So Sumitabh, go on. Vipul.
Thanks, Anil. So, Madhav, so if you talk about programmatic or any other platforms like Madison या कुछ, have you seen any approach like targeting में, whether contextual targeting works better or behavioral targeting works better within the ABM-led approach?
ABM-led approach, it is more of a behavior-led, like for my brand, behavior targeting has worked well. And when you layer these programmatic campaign with a third-party data set, it gives you more better results because you're narrowing down your audience, but without compromising your audience size. So for Madison logic, you add on your filter of behavior targeting, you add any third-party data layer that helps you out to reach to a good number of audience, and the conversion rate in terms of CTR and response is way too good. Running a white space programmatic ABM campaign.
Okay, cool, thanks. Please, Anil.
Yep. So, Sumita, when we talk about ABM, most of the clients actually, so they think that getting the lead from those accounts is the end of it. So, is there any case studies you have, any work you have done where you already have the first party data and you wanted to drive the experience for those named accounts? Anything you have done around that? Is there any activity you have done?
I'll share
Just to
one
keep them
case
engaged,
study.
they just talk about it.
Correct. So I will share one case study. I have it. It's it's the pretty old one, not recently, because recently we are hardcore on ABM on LinkedIn only, without exploring any other platform. But initially, when I started working with Microsoft, we have ran one campaign for Office 365. It was a ABM programmatic ABM campaign with third party data added to it, and that end objective was just to drive registration or maybe filling up a form on the Microsoft landing page. And my click to visit percentage was somewhere close to 65%. And my visit to form conversion, like in submitting a form on that landing page, which was Microsoft's landing page, was somewhere close to 6%.
So, that again, you're talking about leads, eh? I'm saying Bitul, the focus of ABM is not only about leads, and it's about nurturing them, nurturing those leads which we already have. So I'm keen on exploring that. Is there anything we have done with party data? We know that others conducting some kind of panel discussion or roundtable or webinar for only these.
We have done for these activities. Yes. So there were activities that we have ran, for nurturing leads, we have done roundtable conferences, but the results were not that great. Like in the audience engage or the account penetration didn't increase at all. If I have to check on that account. The account penetration and the nurturing was not happening. Like, the
Okay.
numbers were not good.
Okay. Thank you. So if you still have
I will share the data that we
Yeah,
have,
it does.
like in the
Let me know.
last
You can show it
campaigns
to
that
me.
we have run for roundtable conferences. That was again in terms of like in the end objective was again performance need based. That was a more of a gated kind of conversation has happened, gated asset kind of thing. But I'll still share those case studies with you for Microsoft specifically, use case.
Thanks.
और किसी के मन में कोई सवाल, क्योंकि मेरे पास और कुछ है नहीं बताने के लिए। एबीएम में कुछ खास बड़ा नहीं है एबीएम। बताइए बताइए, कोई तो कुछ बोलो।
Questions here? Anybody from the Intel team has any questions?
No, nothing new.
Omega, this is quite new for me, honestly. Thank you so much, Sumitabh. मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं पता थी, honestly. This was really an eye opener. We interact
आगे
so many
टॉपिक ही
times
गलत चुना।
throughout the day on so many things. Had I known that this is so much there's to learn from
टॉपिक
you, would have
टॉपिक
bothered you
गलत
so
चुना।
much.
टॉपिक गलत चुना, मुझे पंचतंत्र की कहानियां सुनानी चाहिए थी।
वो अकेले में कर
अभी
लेंगे।
भी है 10 मिनट, हम सुनने को तैयार है।
क्या कहानी सुनो, गॉसिप भी तो नहीं है ना आजकल।
क्या करें यार,
क्लाइंट आजकल शांत है, मेरा क्लाइंट भी खुश है।
wrap up the session. We can have 10 minutes to yourself. तू समोसा दे दे भाई, वरना छोड़ेंगे नहीं तेरे को दिल्ली वाले।
अभी मैं जैसे आ गया कुछ बट रहा है। कुछ बट रहा है ट्रे में।
Good.
हेलो, बढ़िया है।
चलिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप
Sumitabh,
सबका।
should we wrap up this?
मैंने पहले ही हाथ जोड़ लिए।
Thank you, Sumitabh. Thank you so much, Sumitabh.
चलिए, थैंक्स गाइस, थैंक्स।
Thank you so much.
बाय बाय।
Thank you.
Thank you, Sumita.